Everybody's got their packets, don't they?
Hi, everybody. It doesn't look like he's got his. I brought
Aw, Jack. Call this meeting to order. And first request is that, first of all, good evening, everyone. Secondly, would you please turn off your cell phones so that they aren't disruptive to whomever may be speaking and to the meeting. I would ask Dr. Bradley Cobb if you would do the pleasure of the invocation.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you and ask you for your blessings and your guidance. Blessings on our families, blessings on our friends, blessings everyone in the audience. Blessings on those who serve us overseas and in this country. We ask for your guidance, not only for ourselves personally, but our guidance to help this nation prosper and grow. We thank you for all the blessings and guidance that you have given us. We ask that you guide our families and guide our military. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Cobb. Roll call, Ms. Britton.
Bill England,
Here.
Bill John Baker,
Here.
Jack Baker,
Here.
Harley Buzzard,
Here.
Julia Coates, Bradley Cobb, Joe Crittenden,
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk,
Here.
Mitch Braley,
Here.
Janelle Fulbright,
Here.
Don Garvin, Chet Hoskins Jr.,
Here.
Ina Glory Jordan, Curtis Snell,
Here.
Chris Soap,
Here.
David Thornton,
Present.
Kara Cowan Watts.
Honey. We have a quorum. Next order.
Madam Speaker,
Yes, Mr. Baker.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the council rules in order to amend the agenda. And I put that in form of a motion.
Moved in second. Any discussion on amending the agenda and suspending the rules? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Madam Speaker?
Yes.
I would like to amend the agenda to include 12 additional items, 3 through 14, in the packet that was passed out to the council today. This is as a result of our rules, executive and finance, and special community services meeting that was scheduled for January 31st. That was canceled because of the bad weather and rescheduled on February 7th. And those items came out of those meetings. So I make that form of a motion.
The motion is to amend the agenda to include items 3 through 14 under new business.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All minds clear. Yes, Mr. Baker? All in favor of amending the agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Now, Mr. Baker?
I would also like to amend it to table item 1 under old business because items have not been received on that until the next council meeting.
The item appearing under old business, want to table.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
No, second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Anything else, Mr. Baker?
Thank you, that's it.
Okay. Next order of business is approval of the minutes of the January 14, 2008 regular session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next order of business is State of the Nation. I understand Principal Chief Chad Smith is in Washington, D.C., so I'd ask Mr. Grayson, and I understand you're going to do the State of the Nation.
Yes, ma'am.
Joe, baby. Joe, good to see you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I will be standing in for the chief. He is in Washington, D.C., doing business for the Cherokee people. And our first item tonight, we would like to honor those Cherokees who have passed this last month. Violet Smith, Rhonda Jones, Shelby Washington was a longtime Cherokee Nation employee in the WIC department. Emmylou Ross, wife of Foreman Ross. Brett Crawford, son of Reva Reyes. And Jack Fine, brother-in-law to Janelle Fulbright. And if we missed anybody, we are sorry, but we would like to express our appreciation and respect.
Mr. Grayson, may I add two wonderful ladies who previously passed from Mays County?
Please.
They would be Lucinda Beaver and Susan Bluebird. Susan was an employee of the Salina Clinic.
Okay. Could we have a moment of silence, please? Well, tonight, we take with great pleasure to recognize two veterans. And we want to recognize our Veterans Department, Rogan Noble, who is organizing the Valentines for Vet this year. And that what we do is we give Valentines to the veterans at the Muskogee Regional Hospital and to hospitals throughout the Cherokee Nation. Our first military honoree tonight is Paul Matthew Brickford. Could you come down, please? Matt was born in Tulsa, is from Claremore, and is the son of Paul and Pamela Bickford. Matt is a member of the United States Air Force, will earn his wings on January 20th, 2009. Matt was an Eagle Scout, class of 1996, graduated from Oklahoma State University in 2004, He enrolled in the Air Force ROTC training program at OSU, and that he completed in 2.5 years and earned his commission to active duty in December 2006 as a second lieutenant. He attended Joint Specialized Undergraduate Pilot Training at Vance Air Force Base in Oklahoma. Matt was recently awarded the Air Force Commendation Medal for an act of courage on April 29, 2007. He was the first to arrive at the scene of a serious accident involving a church bus, which took the lives of 3 individuals and threatened several others. Despite the presence of strong gas fumes and the bus teetering on the edge of an embankment, Matt assisted those involved without regard to his personal safety. While this was not something Matt did in the line of duty, the Air Force stated that by Matt's prompt action and humanitarian regard for his fellow man, Lieutenant Bickford has reflected credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. In addition to his military service, Matt does contract work for Cherokee Data Solutions and is a network, hardware, and desktop consultant. Matt, we want to award you with the Warrior Certificate. And Mrs. Bickford, you want to introduce your wife?
Oh, this is my wife, Bethany Bickford. Married
Bethany,
for 4 months.
would you pin that on your husband, please? And Matt, it's a pleasure and an honor to present you with the Cherokee National Medal of Patriotism. Thank you for your service. And do you have anything you would like to say?
I couldn't. I regret this.
Okay. Oh, and additionally, this is a certificate for Rick Our Memorial.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He talked about why the Air Force gave me the Commendation Medal and why I was nominated to get this. It has to do with a car accident. They did a video interview before this, and one of the questions Mr. Robinson asked me was about life lessons. And the one that applied here was one that I learned my first year in college when I was having problems balancing what I should be doing versus what I wanted to be doing, which was actually playing French horn, believe it or not. I'm kind of a dork. But my papa told me that you have to figure out what's important and what's urgent, and then you do the important things. And I said, no, wait a second, you got that backwards, because what you meant was do the urgent things and then take care of the important things. He said, no, the important things are the things that last. Those are the things that aren't tied to emotion, and those are the things that will matter tomorrow, next year, next decade. The urgent things are the things that fly through your life and aren't really that important when you look back. And that's the same thing that happened there at the car accident, looking at what's important, what's urgent. And in the military, you hear a lot in pilot training about working big to small. So if you've got a fire in your engine and a little warning light that says the duct temperature is too high, you don't want to spend your time looking at the duct temperature. You got to spend the time looking at the engine that's on fire and going, hey, it might be time to become a passenger in a parachute rather than a pilot in a plane. That same lesson also carries over into what we're doing here today as Cherokee people and governing our nation and in the nation that we reside in the United States. That we have to look at the things that are in front of us, because those things come in front of us every day. And there are things that people shove in front of us and say, no, you have to worry about this now. But if we look at the things that are important, forget about the things that seem to be urgent, and worry about the things that are going to affect our grandchildren, not the things that are going to affect our tomorrow, we're really going to have a much easier time in life, I believe. So that's all from a second lieutenant that's young. So you don't have to.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your assistance, man.
Oh, Carol wants me to introduce my family. This is my Uncle Jack, who also received this award. My papa, who is also Cherokee and was in the Army. And this is my mother back here. And, there's my dad and my sister and my brother.
Our second recipient is Wilson Van. And is he in the audience? If not, I will do a quick history. Wilson was born at home June 11th, 1924 in Short, Oklahoma, to James W. and Lila Van. His grandmother was Nancy Scott. Wilson attended school at Rock Fence. And if you don't know where Rock Fence is, it's hard to tell you. Wilson joined the Navy when he was 18. And his first duty assignment was an amphibious personnel destroyer ship. And the ship docked at Nagasaki, Japan, 3 weeks after the bombing of the A-bomb. Wilson worked at Cessna Aircraft Company in Wichita, Kansas, where he met his wife, Loretta. They will celebrate their 60th wedding anniversary this year. And Wilson started taking Taekwondo when he was working in Wichita, and he attained the Grand Master in Martial Arts Award in Taekwondo, one of the few Grand Masters. He is an 8th degree black belt, and he is truly a credit to the Cherokee Nation. And since he is not here, we will keep his medal and his certificate, and I will take them to him. Thank you. Thank you. I forgot to say that. And we are proud to say that the Three Rivers Health Facility was dedicated last Thursday. And if you haven't, and if you haven't seen it, you need to go by and look at it and go inside. It's probably one of the prettiest clinics I have ever seen. And I would say that even if I wasn't Cherokee. But we're very proud of that. We're very proud of the hard work that it took to attain the goal of our facility in Muskogee. It will also serve all Native Americans from all over at our facility. It's not just Cherokee. We will be serving all Native Americans. And also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I was told that this clinic has a drive-through pharmacy. And I believe it's the first one. I think it'll work very fine. It will help speed up the process of getting in and out of the clinic and take up less space by getting people out and speeding up the process. Cherokee Nation Education Corporation has announced a list of scholarships available this year to Cherokee Nation citizens. The application deadline is Friday, March 14th. These 7 different scholarships help our citizens to achieve their educational goals by alleviating some of the financial burdens associated with educational costs. And some of the announcements is this coming Thursday, Cherokee Nation will make a presentation to the volunteer fire departments in our jurisdictions. You know, every one of us can say we benefit from our rural fire departments. They don't get enough credit and they lack funding. So we go out and we deliver funding to our rural fire departments because they not only help our Cherokee citizens, they help everybody in the community. And that's one of the things that we stress. We want to be able to help everyone that lives in Cherokee country. Sequoia School senior Angel Goodrich has been nominated to be a McDonald's All-American, an honor offered only to 24 high school basketball players nationwide. Nathan Stanley, a senior at Sequoia Schools and football team quarterback, has been named a finalist in the Gatorade Player of the Year competition for the state of Oklahoma. Andrea Walkingstick, a senior at Sequoia Schools and citizen of the Cherokee Nation, has been selected to work as a page during the 2008 legislative session for Oklahoma Senator Jim Wilson. And thank you very much for putting up with me tonight, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Next order of business is action of unfinished business, and there being none pending, we'll move on to committee reports. And the first report is Housing Authority and David Sutherland.
Good evening. Excuse me. Have a brief report this evening. The Housing Authority's regular board meeting will be held a week from tomorrow evening. The meeting will be at the Alene Hogner Administration Building at 5:30. The board will have a pretty heavy agenda, most of which will be dealing with the transition of housing services to the nation. They will consider a memorandum of agreement between the two entities. They will also consider action on the Housing Authority's 401k plan. The direction from the chief is to find everyone a job, and for those that aren't wanting to transfer, we're going to ask the board to fund a voluntary separation payment. We will also ask the board to consider funding a one-time recruitment incentive for employees not offered a comparable position. We have scheduled employee meetings for the 21st to go over the changes in programs. There will be two sessions. We're going to have them here in the council chambers, a morning session, afternoon session. Our offices in Adair, Cherokee, Sequoia, and Muskogee counties will be closed until 1 on the 21st. The other counties where we have offices will be closed during the afternoon. We'll also notify employees of the job offers on that day during those meetings or after those meetings. There are a countless number of tasks that have to be completed in order to make the May 1st deadline to transition employees. The Housing Authority's health insurance contract expires on April 30th, so May 1st became the best date for the transition. We will continue working to get those tasks completed and to make this as seamless as possible. In closing, I just wanted to mention that the Housing Authority offices are closed next Monday, as those at the Tribe, for President's Day. That's my report for this evening. If you have any questions, I'd sure try to answer them.
Questions or comments for Mr. Sutherland? Thank you, David,
Thank you.
for coming. Next presenter is David Stewart of Cherokee Nation Enterprises.
Good evening.
Good evening.
December was a good month for us, except for Catoosa. The ice storm had a fairly significant impact on our business, but we were favorable to budget at all the other properties. For those of you that saw the big sign when we were about the only light bulb on for several square miles, so it was quite a sight. But we made it through. We put a lot of our employees up during that time, and they really rallied to help us get through it. We're very pleased with Will Rogers. We start our race days later this month, 44 race days. Their financial results are significantly better than in the past, so we're starting to see that property make the turn, which is something we've been waiting for a while. The projects are going well. We're about to top out steel at West Siloam, and Catoosa is also coming out of the ground, so we'll see significant progress in that property. Construction costs continue to be higher than our previous projects, so we're managing that. All the different elements of the project, and concrete and copper, they continue to vary in price, so we're trying to get our arms around that, and that's a big job. Cherokee employment remains strong, so we continue to hold our percentage. We're at 3,250 employees. We won't start hiring yet for our expansions, but that will happen over the next 6 months. That's my report, Madam Chair. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments for Mr. Stewart? Good report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next report is Cherokee Nation Industries, Brian Collins. Good evening, Mr. Collins.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Council. Tonight's report is to cover our monthly sales as of January 2008, $6.8 million. Total sales year-to-date, $27.1 million. That number is running about 30% less than last year. We're seeing a downturn in our construction sales and staffing sales at this time. Local employment is still at 290, which is 82% Cherokee. C&I's next board meeting is going to be February 25th at 3 o'clock in our Tulsa facility. And then one good story I have here for you is that C&D was recently awarded Boeing Supplier Excellence of the Year 2007. There were only 32 companies out of 10,000 that had a past track record for the last 2 years of 100% on time and 100% quality. C&D supplies kits of electrical and electronic parts on a just-in-time contract that we've been holding since 1994. This program supports the F-15, the F-18, the T-45, C-17, the AV-8 Harrier, and Apache helicopter. And so I'm quite proud of our employees and their performance. This concludes my report if there's any questions.
Questions or comments? I have a question. Was Miss Grigsby, Liz Grigsby, involved in any of those awards?
I bet she was. I bet she did something along the way to help. So,
She's a lead over there, isn't she?
as supervisor.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Next presenter is Brad Carson, Cherokee Nation Business.
Good evening, Madam Speaker. I was told before I came to the meeting that my reports are always the council's favorites because of their brevity, and I don't want to disappoint this evening. In any event, we had our board meeting on Saturday. I do appreciate some of our advisory council members coming there, and of course, all council members are invited, and we invite the public to those kind of meetings too. There will be what we think is a very exciting healthcare venture in the nature of diversification and employment that we'll be ready to announce soon, and so we're excited about that particular project, a profitable project that will bring jobs and needed services to the 14-county region. There are also some other interesting diversification projects that are ongoing that will soon be announced to you. So I am always grateful for the chance to serve the Cherokee Nation, and I do appreciate the chance to MC this past week at the grand opening of the Three Rivers Health Center.
Any questions or comments? You did a good job as MC.
You're kind. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Next order of business, old business. That item was tabled, so we'll move on to new business. And the first item is a resolution applying to the Department of Health and Human Services for elder nutrition sites. Mr. Buzzard?
Madam Chair, I make a formal motion. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing participation in an elder needs assessment. Mr. Buzzard?
Madam Chair, I also make this a formal motion.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. And then the new items that were added. Item 3 is a resolution confirming Roger Johnson as a member of the Cherokee Nation Election Commission. Mr. Anglin?
Yeah, Madam Speaker, with the pleasure of the council, I would like to move for the appointment of through 3 through 11, and these are some of them are Board of Commissioners and some are board members to various entities of the Cherokee Nation. So with the pleasure of the council, I'd like to do that in toto.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor of confirming the nominations of these nominees, items 3 through 11, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. That was fast, Mr. Anglin.
Thank you.
Okay, item 12 is a resolution submitting the 2008 Indian Housing Plan to HUD. Mr. Buzzard?
Yes, Madam Chair, I make that the formal motion to approve the FY 2008 Indian Housing Plan.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion on the housing plan? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 13 is an act amending the sovereign immunity of the Cherokee Nation. Mr. Baker.
Yes, at this time, this has passed committee, and I'd put it in the form of a motion to pass the sovereign immunity and delegation authority. It basically just limits it to $500,000 on mundane purposes.
Okay, this is an act, so it'll be roll call. Do I have a second? Who's second? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Crittenden. Okay, any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Bill England? No. Bill John Baker?
Yes.
Jack Baker?
No.
Harley Buzzard?
No.
Julia Coates?
No.
Bradley Cobb?
No.
Joe Crittenden?
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk?
Yes.
Meredith Rayleigh?
No.
Janelle Fulbright?
Yes.
Don Garvin?
No.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.?
Yes.
Tina Glory Jordan?
Yes.
Curtis Snell?
No.
Chris Soap?
No.
David Thornton?
Yes.
Kara Cowan Watts?
No.
And 8 yea. And 9 nay.
8 yes and 9 no. Motion fails. Okay, item 14 is an act amending the 2008 comprehensive budget. Mr. Baker?
Madam Speaker, yes, this is an act increasing our budget. There's a $4,121,000 carryover funds from the tobacco surtax to be used for cancer, diabetes treatment and prevention program. The housing program funds increased by over $2,300,000. The motor vehicle tax fund increases by $718,000. 38% of that goes to our schools and 20% to our roads. Those are some of the items in the budget. Overall, the budget is increased by $10 million, bring our total budget to $439,680,000. And I put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on Amount 4? All in favor? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. No. By acclamation. Did we have a no? No. We have 2 no's.
3 no.
3.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Janelle Fulbright?
Yes, it means you favor the model.
Don Garvin?
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.?
Yes.
Tina Glory Jordan?
No.
Curtis Snell?
Yes.
Chris Soap?
Yes.
David Thornton?
Yes.
Kara Cowan Watts?
Yes.
Bill England?
Yes.
Bill John Baker?
Yes.
Jack Baker?
Yes.
Harley Buzzard?
Yes.
Julia Coates? Bradley Cobb?
Yes.
Joe Crittenden?
No.
Jody Fishinghawk?
No.
Meredith Rayleigh?
Yes.
We have 14 yea and 3 nay.
14 yes and 3 no. Motion carries. Next order of business, Mr. Baker.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I've been asked to amend the agenda to allow for a 90-second video on the Three Rivers Clinic. If the body would, I'd put that in form of a motion.
Sorry.
Moved in All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Where's our video person?
There needs to be a clarification on the vote. I think the sovereignty vote is 10 to 7. Is that correct?
Beginning with a few shovels in a patch of land in the spring of 2006, and with the help of friends in high places just a few months after that, the Cherokee Nation celebrated the opening of the Three Rivers Health Center this week in Muskogee.
This facility
was just on the back of a napkin a few years ago. It took perseverance, intelligence, thought, creativity to turn something of an idea into something of reality, concrete, and real. A facility that will become a place of service for our people, that our people can help heal themselves.
The 105,000 square foot, 3-story building was built at a cost of $23 million and will begin seeing patients on Monday, February 25th.
Well, this is a great day for the Three Rivers District. It's a great day for the Cherokee Nation, and also it's a great day for Muskogee, Oklahoma. So let's give us all a hand.
The building is a tribute to the rich culture and history of the Cherokee Nation. The 4 exterior columns were designed to resemble the historic columns of the Cherokee National Female Seminary. This is Cherokee Nation News.
How do you like this one?
Thank you very much. I would be remiss if I didn't ask those nominees who were appointed and approved by our tribal council for our boards. Would you please stand? I see there's Jackie Bud Martin to the CNI board. Liz Grigsby to the CNI board. Represents all the employees at Cherokee Nation Industries as a representative to the board. Is that correct, Liz? And I worked with her when I was at CNI, and she's a good worker. Any other?
Dan Agent.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Agent, Dan Agent to our... Anyone else that I missed? Okay, next order of business is announcements. Do we have any announcements? Yes, Ms. Fulbright.
I have one. There might be more than this, but I know that we have a new member of the Youth Council from Sequoia County, Will Shaver from Muldrow. Will, are there any others here beside you?
Rogers County.
Okay. Rogers County. What's your name?
Danielle Cole.
My name is Danielle Cole. I'm from District 7. Well, we're happy to have the Youth Council here. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd also like to introduce Danielle's very diligent mother, who is great about supporting her daughter and the tribe, and that's Ellen Culp, who works at the Claremore Indian Hospital. And then we have Jimmy Johnson, the infamous Jimmy Johnson from Rogers County, and Curtis Rohr, who's also the state president of the Oklahoma Trail of Tears Association, and I believe he's a new member of the Historical Society for the Cherokee Nation. Is that correct?
Yes.
I would be remiss without acknowledging how the incredible Matt, who just spoke earlier, the whole family's from Rogers County, and I'm very proud of all of you. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Any other announcements? You entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.